Hi folks, it's Dr. O. Hope you're well. I wanted to do a short video for you because I know a lot of you are out there at the moment raising money, going out looking to angels and just keeping that radar out and wanting to pin people down to a situation where they commit to giving you money towards the business, whether it's a loan, a joint venture partnership, whatever it is. And as you probably know, I've been in this field of communication for many, many years. And I want to bring in an aspect of communication that I think sometimes is overlooked and integrate it into what you may already have as a structure for presenting your investor proposal document. I actually had this conversation just this week with one of the Asset Academy students actually, and I've had two conversations on this in the last 10 days. So I thought I'd just tackle this one head on. First of all, the fact that you're going out and doing it, well done, congratulations. Always be looking, always have that radar out. And if you're going to be using the approach, which is you don't necessarily beg people, you don't ask them for money, but you say, could you review this document for me? I'd really value your opinion on it. I'm going to be talking to some other people very shortly and presenting them with this opportunity. I thought I'd come to you first to get your feedback on it before I go out and approach people. Of course, that's an instant unconscious hook to get them interested in the document. But one of the challenges is that we're in a busy world right now. So as you're watching me, you're probably fully aware that people are getting bombarded with social media. They're getting bombarded with emails. WhatsApp has become a dominant part of people's communications modem now as well. Added to which you've got digital news, computers, emails, you name it, stuff coming from left, right, and center. Add to that just general stuff in people's lives. So to give someone a document that's overwhelming, that's packed with information, and you're asking them to review it and get back to you, that might be too much. For some people, it just might be a little bit too much for them to be able to cope with, or they don't give it enough time, or they look at it and they go, yeah, you know what, this looks good, but I haven't got the time to look at it now. So there's certain things you need to make sure that you've got when it comes to how you present this. So if I've done this right, I've put some notes together. Here we go. I'll move them away from my head there. Which way's my head? There we go. Right. So I'll move it down a bit. Now, those of you that know anything about, and some of you may have been through my communications program. So we created something called CWI, and it launched a couple of years ago. And we took some pretty high level people through that, including some of the mentors and coaches that you know, and the trainers and the speakers you know. They had a huge impact from it. And I want to just disseminate some of that into here, into this message, because it's a fairly full-on process. It's like 38 different components of communication. And I've been doing this with people from more backgrounds, teaching people to speak, people to communicate on one-to-one level, relationships, interventional work, working in your careers, your jobs, working with angels. That was a big subject that came out when we ran it before. And the big thing I need you to be clear on is the first one here is, what is your outcome? I think for a lot of people, they get so excited about approaching people for money. They get really pumped about the idea of putting the document in somebody else's hands. And with that enthusiasm comes a lot of words, a lot of information, a lot of what you've been learning through your amazing training. And then it's like, I've got to get everything onto paper right now. And they throw too much out there. So here's my outcome. I want to get from here to here. And you're taking the person through the journey to get from here to here. But unfortunately, in the process, you're giving them lots of other things to focus on and read. And that can be a distraction. It can lead them off in different directions. And before you know it, you know, which way's the money? So you've got to make sure that you're clear on which direction. There's my sign there. Look, there it is there. So what is your outcome? Are you looking for them as a joint venture partner? Are you looking for them to be an angel to lend you money? Are you looking for them to come in, maybe be a shareholder in your company? Are you offering them a return, or are you offering them something else, a profit share? All these things are important. And are you looking to secure an amount of money, or are you looking for them to give you more money? That's another factor as well. So these are absolutely critical. And I just recently created a little mini series on this, and it's fascinating because as I was going through it, there's a very specific process that people need to follow, and the outcome is very, very clear what you need. Once you've got that, you then have to make a decision to blinker the reader of your document in such a way that they can't see anything that could distract them. Because when you're reading something and somebody writes something down that is non-relevant to the outcome, what happens is they go, oh, that looks interesting, and then they start reading that and their brain goes off in a different direction, and then they start thinking about what you've written down there. So have a look at your documents that you've been written, these proposal documents, and ask yourself the question, is there anything in that proposal document that could actually distract them from my end result. It'll take them away from where I'm trying to lead them to. Okay, good. Number 3, keep the main body simple. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't mean your main body. I mean the main body of your document. Remember, they're opening it up, and I've got my national. I've got this is the letting agents document. So I open up my document, and remember, I want it to be simple. Okay, I don't want it to be that thick. I want it to be this thick, because, and in fact, I might even tell them it takes about 10 minutes to read through. So I want them to go, okay, so it's a 10-minute read. Remember, the minute I open a document, I think, blimey, there's a lot of stuff in here. If I open it, if there's anything in there that's non-relevant or a distraction, noise, I might just stop at that page and go, oh, that looks interesting. So I want to keep the document really simple. Make sure it's clean, clear, and obvious what you're saying. So the start of the document needs to clearly state that, but then as you take them through, the rest of the document has to support what you put at the front. It's not like you walk through the door and you go, I can smell a curry here, and then suddenly you go through a corridor and you end up with an Italian. You don't want that. It's like, where am I leading them to? That's very, very important. So when they're opening the document, it has to feel to them like it's not going to be complicated to understand. It's going to be easy to digest. I'm a busy person, especially if it's a digital format. They're going to flip through it on the computer. Anything that could be a distraction takes them away. And create hooks. Now, one of the things I'm massively passionate about is articulating something to somebody where they get enough information, they get what you're talking about, they love it, but at the same time, they want more information from you. That brings them back to you. So you need to write certain sentences, and there are hook sentences, there's bridging sentences. This is some of the stuff I teach for CWI, where basically they are actually engaged in what you're writing to the point where they go, okay, this is brilliant. And then they go, but I need to know more. Good, because you want them coming back and saying, tell me more. You want them to have a conversation with you. You don't want to fill too many blanks into the document, because if you put too much in there, they get all the answers they want. The answers need to come from you, not from here at this stage, because then you can find out what the situation is, how much time they've got, how much money they've got, what kind of return they might be looking for, how much money they're making in the bank at the moment, which is not doing very well. And that conversation doesn't happen with them if they're absorbed in a very thick document. So keep it simple, keep the main body simple, create hooks. So you're writing things in there that leave a kind of a dot, 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 if you like. And they go, oh, I need to know more. How do I find out more? And they call you and say, I read this thing, but I was wondering about this part of the document. You stated this, interest rates, whatever. How's that work? How do you pay people back? What if I've got more money than the figures you put in here? Ah, great. Well, let's have a conversation. Sit down, coffee, and go through it with you. And now you move to your formal presentation, which is more detail. And the last thing is there, and I've got it in the back there, is if you are going to put detail of something in there, in other words, a bit more bulk, supporting evidence, past experience, maybe your educational background, mentors, coaches, guidance, whatever you've got, examples of deals, it might be valuable to put that towards the back in the appendices, so that the main thrust of what you're telling them is in the first part of the document. The appendix holds the slower processing information. They can flick to and check it and then come back again. That way, what you're not doing is you're not getting them caught in the mud of reading that in the main document. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Right, so 5 things. Quick recap. What's your outcome? Very important. Make sure that you know that before you start writing this document, and state it clearly at the front. Number 2, avoid the noise, too much busyness in the text and the context of what's being in there. That's important as well. And keep the main body as simple as possible, and it stands out and it's bold and it's clear. And then number 4, there is hooks to make me want to come back and talk to you. And finally, let's have the muddy stuff, the detailed stuff at the back, so it's easy to process later on, but it gets them to the result. You know, what are they offering me? What's the actual overall principle of what they're doing? And then what's the conclusion? Great, I get it. Oh, and there's some detail, and we're going to have a look at that a bit later. Right, so that's my suggestion. Hopefully it helps. Many of you are aware that I created a communications test actually to help in this process. If you go to the link here, it's www.cicado.com/test. What that test will do, it takes about 5, 6, 7 minutes to do, and it gives you an output, and the output will actually help you get clarity on which area of your communication you probably need to work on. And once you know that, it enables you to accelerate this process when you're face to face with people. And sometimes people from the result go, shit, that's so obvious now, I realize what I've been doing. A little tweak, all of a sudden you get better results. All right, hopefully that helps. See you on the next live.